Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kartals. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Yadivana Gopi Jana Yadivana Gopi Jana Vallabha Yadivana Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Yadivana Gopi Jana Gopi Jana Vallabha Yadivana Gopi Jana Solanandana Bhajajana Ranjana Yasa Jasodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana Yasoda Jamuna Vanachari Jamuna Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dadi Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivana Dadi Yasodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Yamunatira Vanachari Natira Jai Mr. Padmanabhamsa. His Divine Grace. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki. Ananta Gaura Vaishnava ki jai. Namacharya, Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prem Sikha host Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Samakun. Radhakun. Giri Govardhan ki jai. Shiva Namanam ki jai. Shri Maya Parnavadam ki jai. Ganga Maya ki jai. Jamuna Maya ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Samveda Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Go Premanandi. All glories some devotees. All glories some devotees. All glories some devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this morning we're reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 29, text number 50. Hare Devratam Atma Swayam Prakrutir Ishvaraha Tadpadamulang Saranam Yata Kshemo Nunam Iha Hare Deha Bhatang Atma Swayam Prakriti Ishvaraha Tadpadamulang Saranam Yatakshemo Nunam Iha Hare Deha Bhatang Atma Swayam Prakriti Ishvaraha Tadpadamulang Saranam Yatakshemo Nunam Iha Hare Deha Bhatang Atma Swayam Prakriti Ishvaraha Tadpadamulang Saranam Yatakshemo Nunam Iha Hare Deha Bhatang Atma Shri Hari Dehabhatam of living entities who have accepted material bodies. Atma, the Supersoul. Swayam, himself. Prakriti, material nature. Ishvara, the controller. Tat, his. Palamulang, feet. Saranam, shelter. Yata, from which. Kshema, good fortune. Nunam of Min, Iha, in this world. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki. Sri Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the super soul and guide of all living entities who have accepted material bodies within this world. He is the supreme controller of all material activities in material nature. He is also our best friend, and everyone should take shelter at His lotus feet. In doing so, one's life will be auspicious. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 1861, it is said, Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hridaya Tistati. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna. The living entity is within the body, and the Super Soul, the Supreme Personality of God, is also there. He is called Antaryami and Chaitaguru. As Lord Krishna states in Bhagavad Gita 15:15, He is controlling everything. Sarvasya chaham virisanavisto matasmito gyanam apohanam cha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Everything is being directed by the Super Soul within the body. Therefore, the better part of valor is to take His direction and be happy. To take His directions, one needs to be a devotee, and this is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 10:10. Tesam sayuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam dam yenam yanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to me and worship me with love, I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. Although the Super Soul is in everyone's heart, Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hridaya Tistati, Bhagavad Gita 1861, He talks only to the pure devotees who constantly engage in His service. In Chaitanya Bhagavat, Antya 3:45, it is said, Tahare se bhali vidya mantra adhyayana Krishna pali padme ye karaye stiramana. One who has fixed his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna is to be understood as having the best education and as having studied all the Vedas. There are also other appropriate quotes in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Se vidhara phala jhani ha nishchaya Krishna pade padme yadi chitta vitti roy. The perfect result of an education is the fixing of one's mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. Adi 13:178. Yeah. Dig Vijaya Kariba Vidyara Karya Nahi Ishvare Bhajile se Vidya Satyakahi. Conquering the world by means of material education is not desirable. If one engages himself in devotional service, his education is perfected. Adi 13:173. Padayena or Padekena Loka Krishna Bhakti Janibare Se Yadi Nahila Tabi Vidyaya Kikare. The purpose of education is to understand Krishna and His devotional service. If one does not do so, then education is false. I wonder what our professors in this country would think of that. That's from Adi 1249. Tahare se bhalidharm karma sadachar Ishvare se priti janme samata sabhara. Being cultured, educated, very active, and religious means developing natural love for Krishna. Antya 3:44. Everyone has dormant love for Krishna, and by culture and education that has to be awakened. That is the purpose of this Krishna consciousness movement. Once Lord Chaitanya asked Sri Ramananda Roy what the best part of education was, and Ramananda Roy replied that the best part of education is advancement in Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Jnanatamandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksham Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Mukham Krotavatalam Pamamamai Tegrim Yat Kripa Taraham Vande Sri Gurum Dinataranam Vanchikapatubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhye Vacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said materialistic education expands the influence of Maya and keeps the soul bound to this world, birth after birth. This is the materialistic education. Expands the illusion. In the Bhagavad Gita, purport, Prabhupada says that knowledge means to know the difference between matter and spirit. This is real knowledge. There's so much knowledge in the universities being given, but where is this knowledge? Like Prabhupada, he was at MIT, speaking at MIT. Pretty good number of students, like a couple hundred students there. So he asked him, so where is the course where you could find out why it is that someone dies and you can't bring him back to life? It's like a car breaks, you can fix it. You know, you fix the car. A computer breaks, you can fix it. So many things. Watch breaks, you can fix it. So why is there not some study of, the man dies, why can't you put life back into it? And their students were like, yeah, why don't we study this? Or what's the difference between a dead body and an alive body? I looked in the web yesterday how many courses there are in MIT. 2,300. 2,300 different courses you could take at MIT. But not one where you could find out, about who we are, what the truth is. Yeah, nothing. Just materialistic education. So in Krishna, he explains in the Bhagavad Gita also, Raja Vidya, the king of knowledge. This is the king of knowledge. The teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. I mean, there's knowledge out there, but this, the Bhagavad Gita, is the king of knowledge. Why? Because it's giving information of who we are, who Krishna is, what's time, what's nature. Yeah. What is this existence about? It's all given there in the Bhagavad Gita. Raja Vijaya, and it's the secret. It's the secret. It's the greatest secret. And one might ask, well, how is it the greatest secret? We've distributed thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of Bhagavad Gitas. But Krishna says it's the greatest secret. Now someone may be reading it. I mean, I've read the Bhagavad Gita so many times, but I haven't caught the secret. Still I haven't got it. So it's a very subtle message Krishna gives. And we may be able to read it, but to understand it, it's not easy. Reading and understanding. Like I distributed a book to one student many years ago, and she was reading the Bhagavad Gita and said, I couldn't understand it. And so many devotees, when they first read it, I couldn't understand. Then they read it again. Oh, now I understood something of it. It's not easy to understand. And therefore Krishna says, or here in the Prabhupada said, that you had to be a devotee. So we had to pray to be a devotee, to understand this great secret. Raja Vidya, Rajaguyam, Pavitram is the purest knowledge. There's so much knowledge, so many courses, it's not pure. This knowledge is so pure that if we read it, we get purified. And we can become so purified that eventually we can even understand it and act on it. So Krishna is so pure. It's described, Pavitram idam uttamam, that he is that which purifies. By chanting his names, by hearing his word, Bhagavad Gita, we get purified. This is the power of Krishna, the purity of Krishna. And the more we connect with Krishna, we get purified. Brahmarpanam brahmahavir, brahmagna brahmanahutam, brahmayavatena gantavid, brahmakarma samharina. That one who is absorbed, or fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness, is sure to attain the spiritual kingdom because of his full contribution to spiritual activities, and that which is consumed is absolute, and that which is offered is of the same spiritual nature. So whatever we accept, it's all in relation to Krishna. We only take prasadam. It's like I was in the supermarket not long ago. I was thinking, boy, there used to be so many things that I would eat in the supermarket, but now it's very limited. Vegetables and fruits. That's about it. We don't take anything else, because so many things they're not even offerable. So we only eat things that have been offered to Krishna. We only give out foodstuffs that has been offered to Krishna. We read books that are in relation to Krishna. At least we should. And they're ever fresh. You can read them over and over and over and over again. Prabhupada says in the purport, you can read the Bhagavad Gita, the Srimad Bhagavatam, thousands of times. And each time you read it, you get new insight in the subject matter. So we read books about Krishna. It doesn't get old. We discuss about Krishna. So much prajalpa going on in this world. Unlimited prajalpa going on. But devotees, we discuss Krishna. So if we do like this, then Krishna says, according to this verse, we go back to Krishna. So Rajavidya, Rajaguyam, Pavitram, idam uttamam, it's transcendental. This is transcendental knowledge. See, the result of transcendental knowledge, the result of hearing and living transcendental knowledge, is that we become attracted to devotional service. And the result of material knowledge is we become attracted to sense gratification. And that's actually not desirable for the soul. Everybody's thinking, this is sense gratification. This is the goal of life, to satisfy the senses. Here we are in Pacific Beach, and everybody's like trying to satisfy their senses, but no, there's no real happiness there. Just like if you put some plastic over your tongue, and you try to eat some nice food preparation, can you taste it? Can't taste it at all. Because the taste buds are covered. Can't taste it. So our senses, we have our original pure senses, but they're covered now. They're covered by Maya. So therefore there's so much frustration. Therefore there's so much frustration in the material world, because they're covered. Avartam jnanam etena jnanino nityavayana kamarupena konte dusprena nalena cha. The wise lineage is pure consciousness, covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied, burns like fire. So our original consciousness is covered by this Maya. So this lust and greed and anger, this is all the plastic that's covering us. So this whole process of Krishna consciousness is to uncover. We're trying to uncover our original senses, uncover the soul. It's covered by all this gunk. Just like if you have a magnet and you have a piece of iron, naturally they're attracted. But if a lot of rust gets on the iron, then no attraction at all. At all. But if you scrape off that rust, then again there's attraction. So what we're doing by practicing Krishna consciousness, we're scraping off. We're scraping off this rusty lust, all this contamination, so that again we can be attracted. Nigirnam analoyata, that the subtle body of the living entity dissolves by the practice of Krishna consciousness. Yeah. It's a subtle energy, right? And it dissolves. Krishna is known as the most subtle. There's a name for Krishna, the most subtle. So we have all these subtle coverings, but Krishna, he could remove all this. He can dissolve all these contaminations that are keeping us from being attracted to Krishna. And once we're cleansed of this all this contamination, we're attracted to Krishna again, and then we're happy. So this whole process of Krishna consciousness is the devotional culture of awakening our Krishna consciousness. The devotional culture of awakening our Krishna consciousness. So it's all about. This is what we're trying to do. And so we have such nice wisdom here given to us by Prabhupada and by Krishna. So conducive for bringing out this devotion for Krishna. So, we're very fortunate to have this real education. This morning I listened to a lecture by Prabhupada. 44 years ago, today, he spoke, this is 1977, on Varaha's appearance day. In Bhubaneswar. And he said, Krishna, he likes to enjoy. This Krishna, he's the supreme enjoyer. So, although he's a big person, he likes to take lower positions sometimes, such as a boar. A boar is not a very prestigious animal. He gave the example, just like this prime minister in England. I forgot his name. Gladstone. Prime Minister Gladstone. He was in his office, and another big person, came to visit him. And the secretary said, "Oh, he's busy now. Please, just wait. He's busy." So he's waiting and waiting. He's waiting an hour, and he's like, "What's he doing?" So he opened the door, and he's on his fours, his hands and knees, and his grandson is on his back, and his grandson is saying, "Come on, Grandpa, giddy up, giddy up." And he's running like a horse. So this is pleasure. Here he is, big personality, Prime Minister of England, and he's acting like a horsey for his grandson. And he's having a much better time doing that than being the Prime Minister, I'm sure. So Krishna also, he takes this, he likes to take different roles. Sometimes even he's a horse. I agree with him. Right? The Varaha, Kurma, Matsya. Just like here, you see so many people surfing. When Krishna likes to surf, he really gets into it. Yeah. Huge fish, just swim in the ocean, having a good time. So this is variety. Variety is the mother of enjoyment. So Krishna, of course, Prabhupada goes on to say that everybody wants to enjoy. So, but the highest enjoyment, he explains that Krishna had is in Vrindavan, with all of the different residents of Vrindavan. The cowherd boys and the cowherd girls, and mother and father. So Krishna, he's having a good time. He's always just having a good time. Bhaktaram yagatapasam sarvalokam maheshram surdam sarbhutanam gyatvam shantim richati. So he's the enjoyer. He's the proprietor. He's the friend of all living entities. So this is the position of Krishna. But we want to imitate. So we come here and we want to imitate Krishna. And so much frustration because of this foolishness trying to imitate Krishna. So now we're trying to wake up. Wake up. We're not the enjoyers, we're not the proprietors, we're the servants. And we're meant to give pleasure to Krishna. But now there was a demon, Hiranyaksha. He also was imitating. He wanted to be the enjoyer. Anyone know what Hiranyaksha means? Searching for gold. Like Hiranyakasipu, he was also one searching for gold. Also means soft bread. He wanted both. So Hiranyaksha, he was searching for gold, and it's described that the reason the earth fell down into the Garbhodak ocean is because he dug out so much gold from the earth and lost balance. Went down. So he was very fond of gold, and he liked to fight. So he would fight with whoever would fight with him. So there was what's the presiding deity of the ocean? Varuna. So he went to Varuna to fight with him, and he's a powerful demigod. And he said, "No, I'm old. I don't want to fight." But you're going to fight with someone, Vishnu, and he's gonna humble you. He'll be defeated. So he was waiting for that opportunity to fight with Vishnu. So Varaha, he understood the problem with this. The earth had fallen down into the Garbhodak ocean, right? So the Lord, being kind, he figured out a way to solve the problem. So the way he appeared is a little unusual. Came from the nostril of Lord Brahma. Therefore he's known as the personified Vedas. Because Lord Brahma, he breathed in the Vedas, and Varaha came out. So he's called the personified Vedas. So Lord Brahma thought, what is this? Very unusual. What is? And then very quickly he grew. Very quickly. And he was hovering, like an elephant, big. Then of course he got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then he was able to go down and take the earth out. In Jiva Goswami, he says that if we don't believe these things, these pastimes that we hear in the Vedas, it'll be very difficult for us to advance. Krishna is not ordinary. We're ordinary. We can't do these things, so we can't try. Well, how can that happen? Come on, inconceivable to us. But what can Krishna not do? He could do anything. Manifest as a portent. What's the big deal? Become so big. Demons also can become big demons. So Hiranyaksha, he saw that Varaha had taken the earth out. He said, "Hey, you can't do that. Who do you think you are? This is my area here." So Varaha, set the earth down. He said, "Oh yeah, okay, well, what are you going to do about it?" More or less. so they started fighting. Now, both of them were just giants, just like inconceivable. Inconceivable for our little brains to understand how big they were. They were big, huge. And, Krishna, he likes to fight, so he was kind of like, cat and mice. He was playing with them, a little bit. So he was, looking like he was a little bit of competition for Hiranyaksha. So he was... And then Lord Brahma, he started getting a little... The demigods are watching also. So Lord Brahma is starting to get a little worried, Lord Varaha, it's getting late, the demons, they get more powerful when it gets late, can you finish them off real quick, please? So then Varaha kind of smiled, he said, all right. So he went after him, and then it's described that Hiranyaksha hit him in such a way that his club went flying. And then he thought, now I got it. But he was a Kshatriya. So he said, all right, so he put his club down. Let's just go at it, equal. So they were fighting. And still, he was playing with him. But then it's described that he just kind of nonchalantly, hit him at the root of the ear. Didn't even hit him that hard. But his eyes bulged and just left his body finished. Yeah. So this the fight of Lord Boar with Hiranyaksha. And of course, the demigods were very pleased with the result of the battle, and the earth was placed back where it was. Yeah. Amazing pastimes, and they must be true. I mean, who could think of such things? It's just like completely amazing. So. Any questions or comments?
Can you explain the idea that there is two manifestations of Varaha? Is it white and red?
I know there's white and red, but you're going to have to explain that. Please.
Well, what I understand is that they appeared in two different kalpas, two different ages of Manu, and one of them fought with Hiranyaksha, and the other one lifted the earth up.
Uh-huh.
And then in the telling it of Shukadev, he kind of conflated the two and made it into one story. That's what I understand it. But I'm sure that Rajendrananda has some further insight.
In the Laghu Bhagavatam, Rita Rupa Goswami describes these things. The first Swayambhuva Manvantara, that's when he's reddish, and that he's glorified in the first canto of Bhagavatam, the list of incarnations, and he lifts the earth. And in the second canto, my understanding from having read it was that also the earth was in the water by Hiranyaksha, and he picked it up, and he also fought with him. And he makes the point that gives the genealogical table, how's it go? Uttanapada, his sons were the Prachetas. The Prachetas had Daksha as a son, and his daughter was Diti, and her son was Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. So that's in the Vaivas. No, I just read about Chaitanya. Chakshusha Manvantara. So, a million years, whatever, after Swayambhu, the first one, and he's the white incarnation. And what else does it say? Maitreya amalgamate on him, like Dravida Prabhu said. And then he also gives very interesting information. Varaha is down in the lowest planet in the universe. The planet actually is, it's called Varaha Loka. It's touching the shell of the universe down there. And there's another form of Varaha called Varaha. Like if you saw Giriraj's post for Varaha's appearance day today, has a beautiful picture of Varaha, bluish form with 4 arms and legs, and then the boar head holding the thing. So Rupa Goswami said he's on Maharloka. And another really cool detail about these devastational waters, they were in the middle of these manvantaras. It wasn't just like the ocean at regular, depth in the Garbhodaka Ocean. There was universal devastation that took place. Well, how does that happen in the middle? And so there was a curse by Agastya Muni to Swayambhuva, and this caused it to raise up. And so it takes place, even though generally it's at the nighttime of Brahma.
Mm-hmm.
But this was a special occasion on both of them, evidently. It was in the middle of the... and then there's also a drop of nectar, if I can share.
Yeah, let's hear it. Churn the nectar.
In the shells of the universe, the first one is earth. Like Krishna and Arjuna went through the shells of the earth, of the universe to get to Mahavishnu, to have his darshan. So the first one is earth, and there Bhumi personified. She worships Varaha. And it's said that that elemental earth is more opulent than all the 14 worlds put together, anything and everything found in the universe. Because as it gets further and further out, closer to the spiritual world, then the opulence increases and increases. And Gopakumar, he is traveling. He's been in Brahmaloka. He's seen the Mahapurusha come out of the yajna, the sacrifice. And when he saw Varaha there in the element of earth, he saw all the opulences of the 14 worlds just swirling within every pore of his body. Varaha's body, transcendental body. And he said, you wouldn't see that with Mahapurusha. So even the Lord's manifestation as Varaha was more opulent than the 1,000-armed Vishnu in Brahmaloka. And so Bhumi, here's another little, we're touching on Bhumi, she worships Varaha there. She also worships him on a Varsha. One of the Varshas, she worships him. There's prayers in the 5th canto for him as the personified sacrifice.
And they had a child.
There you go. This is your passing the baton to you.
What was his name?
Vana.
He became a demon by bad association.
Yeah.
Son of the Lord.
And Bhumi.
And Bhumi became a demon because of bad association. It just goes to show you have to associate with devotees. What's it? Was it Banasura? Banasura.
Uh-huh. Bana or Boma? Which will you say?
Bomasura.
Forgive me.
Bomasura. Yeah.
Narakasura.
Yeah, another name for Narakasura.
Bhumi had begged a boon from the Lord Varaha that don't let him be killed unless I give permission. So he was a big disturbance, and Krishna went to dispatch him, but he brought Satyabhama with him on Garuda. And at one point he asked Satyabhama, "Is it all right if I kill him?" He said, "Yes, certainly, immediately." And so the acharyas explained that Bhumi is an expansion coming from Satyabhama. So
okay.
That way he covered his promise to Bhumi.
I was in Mayapur maybe 20 years ago, and it was Varaha's appearance day. And I had the microphone. I was going to ask the speaker a question. And another devotee said, well, a boar is not very attractive. A boar is ugly. How is God ugly? So I had the microphone. I said, no. It's described in the Shastra that Lord Boar, he has lotus eyes. And in this lecture Prabhupada gave 44 years ago, he said, the Lord is beautiful. Lord Varaha is beautiful. So generally you don't hear of boars being beautiful. But the Lord in the boar form is beautiful. Very attractive. All attractive. So, yes, Javitapu.
One more small detail.
It's on.
Describe this in one purport. But you know how Krishna takes these forms just suitable for what he's got to do, like Nrsingadev, has a form, and Matsya in the ocean to save there's a big flood.
Yeah.
So the boar has this big snout, and he roots around in the earth, So this is just suitable for him getting underneath that earth planet and carrying it and bringing it up to the top of to the water.
Yeah.
So that's, very interesting detail.
And there's something about when boars, when they get out of the water, they shake their body and the water goes flying around. So what there's something about it.
Wherever it fell on the earth.
Wherever it fell on the earth?
I think Kusha grass grew.
Kusha
Kusha
grass
grass is very integral to the performance of yajnas, to the satisfaction of issues. It's very auspicious, Kusha grass.
Uh-huh.
I thought the sages also were, when Varaha came out and he was, with his, I thought they all came and, were...
They got benedicted by the
eager
water.
to, get the water from,
Yeah.
Splash by Varaha. So what was this bad association of Narcasur? I mean...
Some bad association is described. There was some bad association. I mean, it's a material world, it's not that difficult to get bad association.
Yeah.
As we've seen, especially in Kali.
Now they've guided could would not be pure and ecstatic and devotee.
Wow.
But we find with Advaita Acharya,
Yeah, 3.
Has not all of his sons.
3 of them.
Yeah.
Deviated, Mayavadis.
Yeah, so it happens.
So what to speak, sometimes devotees, they just they want to get married and raise some children in Krishna consciousness, but it's not guaranteed. Prabhupada had 5 children. Not one of them became a devotee. Prabhupada, he had more. Huh? It was favorable, not a devotee. Yeah, not favorable, but no one became like a full devotee. Prabhupada, Sakti's avatar, so very difficult.
You're mentioning Mayapur. Do you know the island named after Varaha?
No.
9 islands? Kola Dweep.
Uh-huh.
Kola means boar, and Nityananda told Jiva Goswami the pastime that there was a Brahmin in Satyuga named Vasudev. And he was always worshiping Lord Varaha and praying, please bless me, please appear before me. And he lived there in, Navadweep, Dham. And so the Lord was very pleased with his worship, and he appeared as Varaha, and a big giant boar. And so he's ecstatic. The Lord said, I've accepted your worship. You're such a nice devotee of mine, and I'm going to tell you a secret. You were saying Rajavidya, Rajaguyam. I'll tell you a secret. This dham that you're in, this is the holiest, my most favorite of all dhams. In fact, this place where you're worshiping me is where Lord Brahma performed a yajna to cause my manifestation because of the trouble caused by Hiranyaksha. That's a nice little detail Bhaktivinoda Thakur shares with us. And he said, in Kali Yuga, during the Vaivasva Manu, I will, in Kali Yuga, I will appear as Lord Gauranga. And I'm going to bless you that you can enter in and participate with me in my pastimes. And so that place is called Kola Parvata, and Parvata means mountain, so it's also non-different than Govardhan. We're here in New Govardhan, so we have this relationship, Varaha, with Govardhan, very auspicious. And the thing about, if you go to Sridhar Maharaj's mutt there, across the river, they have a deity of Varaha. It's Devananda? Thank you. Keshava, Pragya Keshava Maharaj's mutt. And there's a deity of Varaha, and my godbrother Padmalochan, he took me over there one time, and he explained that just as the boar went down into the muck, the mud at the bottom of the Garbhodak ocean, picking up the earth, in the same way Varaha can cleanse us, pick us up out of the muck, out of the contamination, like you were saying, covering the heart. And that island also is specifically benedicted by Lord Chaitanya that all offenses are forgiven. The pastime of Devananda Pandit's there. And so Varaha can cleanse us of contamination, and we can also pray to him to purify us from offenses that we've committed to others. So that's the little Navadvip Leela relating to.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's right. You tell it. I don't.
Lord Chaitanya, once he started exhibiting his godhood, he was busting out all over. He was exhibiting all his different incarnations and what have you. And one time he went to Murari Gupta's house. Shukla, he was yelling out, Shukla, the boar, Shukla Rupa. And Murari had his water pot there, and the Lord manifests to begin with, Gauranga, he picks up this water pot, but he manifests the form as Varaha, and he's carrying this water pot resembling Mother Bhumi, the earth, on his and he says, "Worship me." And so Murari Gupta, there's some wonderful prayers glorifying Lord Chaitanya at that part of the Chaitanya Bhagavat. So that's the one that I remember.
Very nice. Okay, anything else? No, thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki? Yeah.